What is up, everybody, and welcome back to Touchdown and Ties, the father-daughter sports podcast where she knows ball because he taught her. I'm your co-host, Brianna, the daughter of this duo.
What up, everybody? And I'm Keith, her dad, the other co-host.
In today's episode, we are going to be wrapping up championship weekend in the NFL. But before we do, if you haven't already, please go ahead and follow us wherever you listen to podcasts. That way you get updated whenever we upload an episode. And of course, it also helps us out as well. All right, let's go ahead and get into it.
All right, let's do it.
All right, well, first let's start off by talking about how this weekend is going for you, because I don't know about you, but everybody is frozen right now in the country. I don't know what's happening, but it's like an ice age, day after tomorrow, if you will.
Crazy, right?
It's insane.
It is crazy just how cold it is and how the weather has impacted places that normally don't have to deal with ice and snow. Like I'm one of them. You know, it's crazy. I mean, you've been in the house, at least I have, all weekend. Can't get out, too much ice, too much snow. It's just been crazy. I haven't worked in 3 days. You know, normally I work on the weekends, but I wasn't able to work this weekend because of the weather. So, and I won't be going to work today because of the weather. So it's just been crazy.
Well, I don't know too many people that would complain about having a snow day for 3 full days in a row. That's lovely. That's amazing.
Right?
And I always think it's so funny when you look at, like I said, regionally, how you said different places are not equipped to deal with the weather, because northern people looking at people in the south or whatever, like, y'all not going to work because of that. And then they just keep it pushing.
I have family up in the Detroit area, and they've been shut down for some days. Yeah, they haven't had school, you know, on and off here for like the last couple of weeks because of the weather. Because it's been cold, it's been snowing. So, hey, you know, they can't talk about anybody need to get out and do anything, because even though they are equipped to handle it, it's been brutally cold for them, and they can't go. The kids can't go to school. You know, people can't go to work. I mean, it's just this system that has come down and affected a large portion of the United States. I think Florida may be spared right now. Maybe parts of California out west may be spared. But everybody else, if you're in that middle section and to southwest and all of that, you are affected by what's been going on these last 2 or 3 days. It's just been brutal.
Yeah, some crazy weather for sure. But I guess it's nice though, because we had some football to watch. So you could bed rot, you couldn't go anywhere, Rose was closed. No excuse. Your wives couldn't take you to Lowe's or to a birthday party on the weekend because you got to just sit down and watch football on the most perfect weekend, championship weekend. So that was great.
Yeah, at least we had one day to watch football. I was struggling on Saturday trying to find something to do. It's just like, man, this could have happened last weekend. At least I would have had football to watch all day.
Yeah, almost every day. I mean, at the end of the week, we had college football. We had NFL football going on. I mean, we had so much football last week. We only had one day
National
this week.
Championship and college football was a week ago. So you had stuff to do last weekend. This weekend, you only had that one day. And we saw how the weather impacted that Patriots and Broncos game.
From the second quarter to the third quarter, it was like an instant snowfall. It's just crazy how fast snow can accumulate. I'm like, are we even looking at the same game? And if you listen to Tony Romo, he told us enough times the weather definitely affected that game for those guys. So,
and they showed a time lapse of it too, like how when the game started, it was perfect outside. And then, like you said, by the third quarter, the field was covered with snow. So it's like, wow.
Yeah.
And it definitely affected the game. Tony Romo was 100% right. It definitely affected that game. And it's for me why I say, and I know people don't agree with this. I know not everybody agree with it at least. I hate when weather impact games like that, because, you know.
You don't like the quote unquote football weather?
I get it. I mean, I like it if it's just cold. But not too cold. I mean, I don't want it to be like, 20 below zero outside either. But when you have the wind and the snow and all of that, I just think it affects the game too much.
For sure.
And I know that's all a part of football. I get it. Stay off of me on that one. I get it. I'm just saying, for me personally, I just like when teams reach this level and you're trying to get to the Super Bowl, you're trying to win the championship or whatever the case may be. I just don't want to see the weather play a factor in it. Yeah. I mean, it's the same thing like in baseball, because baseball season lasts so long now. I hate when weather play a factor with baseball games, because baseball is meant to be played in the summertime. right,
Yeah.
when it's warm outside. But now because the season ends so late, you have some of these games where they playing these games and it's like 30, 40 degrees outside. That's
Right,
just,
for baseball, that's
I just
crazy.
think it affects the play. But it
Yeah.
definitely affected the play with the Patriots and the Broncos yesterday.
For sure. I mean, it was a defensive slugfest, as they're calling it. Final score was 10-7. I believe it
Yeah.
was less than 400 yards gained combined by either
Combined, yeah.
team
Yeah.
the whole entire game. It was like you thought it was gonna be last week with the AFC, divisional round, that was gonna be
Right.
pretty low scoring games. Actually ended up being that way this week
Yeah.
because nothing happened. Nothing happened
Couldn't
with
even
this
kick
game.
field goals.
Other than that blown coverage from the Patriots that Denver was able to get down the field and score, and then you had the Patriots who recovered that fumble from Jarrett Stidham, and then they put them in position to score at the 14-yard line. That was the one and only touchdown from each team.
Yeah, you're right. We did think last week it was gonna be a defensive struggle between the Bills and the Broncos and also with New England and the Texans, but, it didn't pan out that way. But this week it did. It started out like it may not be that way. Stidham came out, he looked good. He threw
Yeah.
that long pass down the right-hand side of the field. I forgot who he threw it to. He still ended up scoring a touchdown on that drive, and the Broncos had total control of the game. I think it was 2 things that turned the momentum in that game. One, they were up 7-0. They were driving the ball. They were in New England's territory. They had a 4th and 1
Yes.
with an opportunity to kick a field goal. And, Tony Romo was saying this in the moment. Like, you're starting a quarterback that hasn't played in like 2 years. You
2
have an
years.
opportunity to take a 2-score lead in this game. You should take the points. And sure enough, he went for it on 4th down. They didn't
Yeah.
make it.
Yeah.
And boom, that missed field goal at the end of the day seemed to be really big. And then also the turnover because the Patriots had nothing going. They had
At all.
absolutely nothing going,
At
and I don't
all.
know what Stidham was doing on that play. I didn't necessarily agree with the call. I thought it was an incomplete pass. They initially ruled it as an incomplete pass. Then they came back and said it was a backwards pass. I still didn't see it, but it is what it is. New England recovered it, and they got the only touchdown of the game. And those 2 things proved to be the difference in the game.
Yeah. Both teams missed a pair of field goals at some point during the game. Both teams basically only averaged about 3 yards per play. The Patriots were like
Mhm.
3.2, the Broncos were 3.1. So neither team was really doing anything, but there were several points that were left on the field simply just because of field goals. And I could not understand why they weren't kicking the field goal when it was 4th and 1. You're at the 14-yard line. I could not understand why they didn't just kick a field goal when it was 4th and 1. It's the biggest game of the season. Again, you have a quarterback that hasn't snapped the ball in 2 years. You're playing the Patriots. Both defenses obviously are doing very well. I just don't understand these coaches and not wanting just to take points. I mean,
Yeah.
going for it on 4th down is
Yeah.
it's just a thing. It's like it's a bad thing now if you settle for a field goal. But at the end of the day, points are points. And I feel like what we've seen kind of throughout the season is that it always comes down to like 3 points. Like, oh, if they would have kicked the field goal here or had this field goal from here, they would have at least tied the game, taken it overtime, or they would have had that lead. I don't know. I feel like it's always coming down to field goals at the end of the day.
It's high risk, high reward, right? You damned if you do, damned if you don't, right? I mean, if you go for it, Sean Payton is a hero,
Yeah.
right? If you don't make it, now all of a sudden he's the GOAT. It's just like, okay,
Mhm.
why didn't you take the point? So you just never know. I guess coaches go on feel, but I just know all the years that I watched football growing up, the coach is kicking a field goal every time in that situation, especially that
Yeah.
early in the game. I can
Yeah,
see if it
it was
was
the
4th
first
quarter,
quarter.
but back in the day, every coach in the NFL is kicking a field goal in that situation. You take the points. But now, I don't know what it is. I mean, and Dan Campbell, I got to squeeze the Lions in here some kind of way.
Some kind
Dan
of way.
Campbell, he coached under Sean Payton.
Yeah.
So now you can maybe understand where he gets some of his aggressive nature from is
Yeah.
from being a disciple of Sean Payton, going for it in that situation where, again, hindsight is always 2020. You can look back on it and go like, man, if they had taken the points there, that probably would have won them the game. But then it was still so much game left. I mean, I don't know if these guys knew that this weather was going to come in the second half and affect play like it did. I mean, I think they get weather reports. I mean, I'm not
Well, yeah,
sure. I
for
think they
sure.
do.
100%, yeah.
But if he knew that, then maybe that played into his thinking. Like we can go up 2 touchdowns here with what is on the horizon with the weather. Maybe that'd be enough to win us the game. I don't know. I'm just
Yeah.
I can't get into the man's mind
Speculating.
here.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But again, because he didn't make it, it's easy to criticize the decision. But had
Yeah.
he made it,
It would have been
and they scored a touchdown, you would have been
right.
hailing this guy as a genius. So
Yeah.
it is what it is, man. You can look at that and say that was one of the things that cost him the game potentially. but they had other opportunities. So the fumble or the backwards pass, whatever they called it, that didn't help either.
Oh,
And credit to the Patriots, they took advantage of it.
yeah, and speaking of the Patriots, I'm now the AFC for me at this point is just it's just so predictable because if you're looking at the history of the AFC champs since 2016, it's been either the Patriots or the Chiefs with the Bengals sprinkled in there one year in
One
2021.
time. Wow.
Everybody keeps saying we sacrificed the Chiefs not being in the Super Bowl just for the Patriots to be back in it again, again this year.
Yeah. I didn't
Especially
want to see the Patriots in the Super Bowl.
really? No, you did not. No. I mean,
I
I
didn't
guess
want to
I
see the
guess
Broncos in the Super Bowl either, so it didn't really
yeah,
matter. I
right.
mean, and here's the reason why. You call me a hater all you want, but this will now be the 12th time that I have seen the New England Patriots play in the Super Bowl. The 12th time. That's crazy. The Broncos have been to the Super Bowl in my lifetime like 8 times.
Yeah.
So I didn't wanna see that. I didn't wanna see the same teams
Yeah.
in the Super Bowl again. And like you
Yeah.
said, I mean, we just got over the
The
Chiefs
Chiefs
thing being in the Super
dynasty,
Bowl
yeah.
every year. And, the Patriots just you gotta give them credit. I mean, they sucked. There's no other way of saying it. They've sucked basically since Tom
Since
Brady
Brady
left.
left, yeah.
The last 2 years, I think they won 4 games each of
Yep,
those last 2
they
seasons,
did.
and yet here they are, they hire Mike Vrabel, and in one season, he turns it around, and they're back in the Super Bowl again, and it's just like, "Really? New England
Yeah,
again?
yeah.
Boston
Well,
again?"
we gotta give Mike Vrabel some credit. I mean,
I
he
give
was
him
fired
credit,
from the
yeah,
Titans in 2023. He didn't get a head coaching job the year after that.
which was
He did okay when he first started because his first 3 years there, they had consecutive playoff appearances. He was the
yeah,
AP Coach of the Year in 2021, and then he went over to the Patriots. So if anybody is sick right now, it's gotta be Tennessee Titan fans because I feel like I
yeah,
can relate to that because we were kinda looking at the same thing with Ben Johnson. It's like this man was here for 6 years. He go to this team for 1 year, and now they
1
already at the
year.
Super Bowl, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah, but that's what makes the NFL so great, man. I mean,
Yeah.
because it's set up to where you can be a last place team
Mhm.
1 year, and then the next year you can make the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I mean, they
I
weren't
mean,
even in the playoffs the last year. Like you said, they've
the
sucked since Brady left in
yeah,
2019.
neither team that's in the Super Bowl this year were in the playoffs
The
last year.
playoffs last year. Yeah,
And
it's
even though the
crazy.
Seahawks weren't bad, I mean, they finished 10-7 last year. It's just the
Yeah,
NFC was so good last year, they didn't make the playoffs.
yeah.
But it's set up this way to where you can have these quick turnarounds if you make the coaching decision, you make the
Mhm.
right draft picks, pick up the right free agents. It's set up that way to where
Yeah,
everybody has a chance to win. So
yeah,
that's what makes the NFL so great. That's
yeah.
what make people watch the NFL because the Jets next year could be in the Super Bowl.
Which
Probably won't happen, but,
right,
it could
like, that's a
but it
stretch.
could happen. It could happen, right? You just never know, man. You just if they go out and get a good quarterback in free agency or something like that, you just
Yeah,
never know.
and
You
change
never
literally
really know.
everything.
Yeah,
But yeah, it's true,
because
you never know because, like you said, the same way you're saying that a team who wasn't in the playoffs this year could make it to the freaking Super Bowl this year, you have teams that were in the playoffs last year, Lions, who are not
yeah,
even in the playoffs this year.
didn't even make it, yeah. I mean, the Lions didn't make it this year, the Commanders didn't make it this year, the
Yeah,
Chiefs
look
didn't
how
make it this year, the Ravens
right.
didn't make it this year. I mean, so again, that's why the NFL is so good because you
Yeah.
have this turnover every year where in each conference you'll have 2 or 3 teams who
Mhm.
who who made the playoffs one year, don't make the playoffs the following year, and teams who did make the playoffs one year, they turn around and they make the playoffs the following year. So it happens
Right.
every year.
Every
It
time, yeah.
happens
Yeah.
every year. When you get a team like the Chiefs or the Eagles or the 49ers, teams like that who are consistently in the
Like,
playoffs,
historically in it, yeah.
that's not the norm. That's just not the norm. I mean, it's normal to have this turnover every year
Mhm.
where you may make it for a couple years and then you don't. There's somebody who hasn't made it in a couple years. They end up being in the playoffs. And this year, look, you got 2 teams in the Super Bowl who didn't make the playoffs last year,
Yeah,
and one of
yeah,
them is the Patriots
yeah, yeah. Well,
without Tom Brady.
I know he's happy. It's probably good for him too that he
Mhm.
doesn't work for NBC because he can just be I mean, obviously, the man's gonna
Fan.
be super biased. He can be a fan.
Yeah, he could be
Yeah,
a
he
fan,
can
yeah.
come to San Francisco and just be a fan of his team, rightfully so.
Yeah.
Because I mean
He said he'll be there. He said that's
yeah,
he's from that area, so he said he'll be
yeah,
at the game.
yeah. I thought I was going to the Super Bowl, and I looked at those ticket costs.
Yeah, you're not doing that. Yeah,
$61,000 for a ticket is
yeah.
crazy
61,000?
for, like, lower level.
Holy Toledo, wow, that's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a
That's
lot. That's
yes,
that's crazy. That's a
yes.
whole 'nother subject there, that's just crazy.
Exactly,
That's
exactly.
crazy.
Well, let's switch over to the NFC Championship game. It was the third rematch of this NFC West. I feel like half of the playoffs in the NFC was just rematches of the NFC West at this point because we keep seeing these teams play each other. But Rams and the Seahawks, 27-31, great game there. What did you think?
Had you told me that Matt Stafford would pass for 375 yards against the Seattle defense, I would have said the Rams were going to win the game. But who had on their bingo card that Sam Darnold would basically match what Matt Stafford was able to do?
Yeah.
Matt Stafford, he had like 40 or 50 yards on that last drive or whatever. But going into that drive, Sam Darnold had just as many yards passing as Stafford did. I mean, they both had well over 300 yards. They both had 3 touchdown passes, right?
Both had 0 interceptions.
Neither guy turned the ball over. So, I mean, who had that happening that Sam Darnold would be able to do that, and yet he did. So this game came down to basically one play.
Yeah, 100%.
And that was the turnover on that punt. That was the difference in the game.
Yeah.
That was the difference in the game.
That was the biggest thing for me that I was looking at, because not to jump around, but everybody's been talking about, oh, if Matthew Stafford doesn't win this game, then he doesn't deserve to be in the Hall of Fame or whatever, yada, yada, yada. Matthew Stafford and Sam Darnold literally played the exact same game. Their passer rating was 0.2% of each other.
Yeah.
They had the exact same game. So whatever happened in this game wasn't on or the fault of the quarterback. It was everything else that was kind of like surrounded them, like you said, the turnover and the fumble and all that kind of stuff, because the quarterbacks played it amazing on both sides.
Yeah. In both games, the turnovers are what made the difference in the game. If the Broncos didn't turn the ball over on that play that we talked about, they probably would have beat the Patriots. And if the Rams didn't have that muff punt to start the second half there, they probably would have won the game. It's so imperative that guys or teams don't turn the ball over in championship games. It's just hard to overcome.
Yeah, because the competition is just too hard at that point.
Competition is
you
just too
basically
hard.
have to play perfect.
You have to play perfect. I mean, you almost have to play perfect to begin with, but then you go in and now you have this mistake that happens. And then the first play after that turnover, boom, Seattle scored a touchdown. So now you go from being down 4 points to being down 11 points. And so now Seattle has control of the game, for the rest of that game. They got control of it. And as long as they don't turn the ball over or they give up a big play on special teams or something like that, the Seahawks were probably going to win the game. And that's exactly what happened. I think everybody was sitting back waiting for Sam Darnold to make a mistake, because that's normally what he does, right?
What he does,
everybody was waiting on him to throw the ball to the other team, and it just didn't happen. Sam Darnold played the game of his life.
Yeah, he shut everybody
up. He played the game of his life, and I'm happy for the guy.
I'm happy for him.
I'm happy for the guy. Yeah, I mean, because he was labeled a bust. When he came out of college, he was a number 3 overall pick by the Jets. Everybody had all these high hopes for Sam Darnold. I think he played maybe 3 seasons with the Jets, and then they got rid of him. So he got to bounce around the league the way he did. I think he played for Carolina at one point, maybe San Francisco at one point. I know he played for Minnesota last year. Yeah, I know he played for the Vikings last year. Led them to 14 victories.
Right. And they said, thanks, but no thanks. We're going to go with the rookie. And look at how that's working out. No offense to JJ, but I mean, look how that is working out for them.
Yeah, and I get that that's something that they had to do. The Vikings letting Sam Darnold go is the equivalent to like Detroit having to let Ben Johnson go. It's something that they had to do. I mean, they drafted J.J. McCarthy with the 10th overall pick the year before. They picked up Sam Darnold just thinking he was going to be the backup, basically. And then J.J. ends up getting hurt in the preseason, and Sam Darnold has to be the starter and play the whole season, and he did well. But that's not the reason why they brought him to the team. Yeah. So you don't expect them to say, okay, we're gonna sign Sam Darnold. We already got J.J. McCarthy under contract. Salary cap wise, they couldn't afford to do that.
They couldn't do it, yeah.
They couldn't afford to do that. So, I don't fault the Vikings for losing Sam Darnold, but I'm pretty sure if you're a Viking fan, you probably feel the same way Detroit fans felt about Ben Johnson going to the Super Bowl. I'm pretty sure if you're a Vikings fan, you probably didn't want to see it. You don't want to see Sam Darnold. You had this guy on your team. You got basically the same kind of team maybe that Seattle has, because you have a really good defense. You feel like you're just a quarterback away. You probably didn't want to see this guy, on his first season go to the Super Bowl. You just probably didn't want to see it. But,
again, same way Tennessee probably don't want to see Mike Vrabel get to the Super Bowl his first year with the Patriots.
With the Patriots. And he played for the Patriots.
And he played with the Patriots.
He was on the Patriots team when they won all those Super Bowls back in the day.
Won 3 Super Bowls with them,
Yeah. So good for Sam Darnold, man. I'm happy for him. It was a really good game. The weather didn't play a factor in the game. The two teams were able to perform at optimal levels,
Yeah.
right? And we saw a really good game.
Yeah.
It just so happened that the Rams just, and
Yeah.
I know people got on me once before when I said this, but they just ran out of time.
I
They
know,
just
I
ran
was
out of
gonna that was
time.
gonna be my next point because everybody was like, "This is stupid, blah, blah, blah." But,
Yeah.
I mean, look at the way that they were moving the ball down the field. They only had 25 seconds left. They had no timeout, so the clock was just
Yeah.
not on their side, but they completed the pass, and then they completed it again, but then the
Mhm.
clock they just ran out. I mean, but
Just ran out of
Matthew
time.
Stafford
Yeah.
was throwing dimes. Puka Nacua was up and grabbing them and pulling them back down.
Yeah.
They just couldn't do, they didn't have enough time to do it, but
I
yeah.
mean, you got to give Seattle's defense credit
Yeah.
when it looked like the Rams were about to go down and take the lead. They stopped them on that fourth down. And then now you got to turn around and you give Seattle's offense some credit because they were pinned deep in their own territory with like about 4 minutes to go in the game.
Mhm.
And you kind of felt in that moment that if the Rams got the ball back, they probably were going to
They'll be
score a
able to
touchdown
score.
because,
Yeah.
the Seattle's defense had been on the field for a long time on that
Yeah.
previous drive. And you kind of felt like Seattle needed to get at least a couple first downs to let their defense rest. And, they basically ran off the rest of the time off the clock.
Yeah.
They ended up giving the ball back, like you said, with like 25 seconds to
25
go.
seconds, yeah.
That's when you start talking about complementary football, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Every phase of their team contributed to that
right,
victory. The offense contributed, the defense contributed. They got the turnover on special teams that led to a touchdown. So that's complimentary football for you right there, man. If you
for
ever want a
sure.
definition of it, that's what it is.
Yeah,
And it was enough for them to hold off the Rams because the Rams were coming, man.
yeah,
They were
they were.
charging. Puka
Yeah,
Nacua and Matt Stafford was humming. I think Puka ended up with like maybe 160, 170 yards
yeah,
receiving in that
yeah.
game.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, the running backs in this game had a hell of a game on both sides. Blake Corum,
Yeah.
and I forget the other running back's name on
Kenneth
at the
Walker,
Ram. No, that's the running back for the
Kyron Williams.
Seahawks. Yeah,
Yeah,
for
Kyron
the
Williams, yeah.
Rams. So that those two, Kenneth Walker. Obviously, you had Jackson Smith and Jigba that was happening. He was just open the
He
whole
had a great
time.
game. Yeah,
Holy cow. I mean, Puka
yeah,
had a great game. Cooper Kupp, who was with the Rams and went to the Super Bowl and won there. Now he going
yeah,
back to Super Bowl with a different team.
yeah.
Like
He was the
they
MVP of the Super Bowl too that year that he won with the Rams.
yeah, I mean, everybody is having an amazing game. It was just on both sides. Like you said, it was just back and forth the whole time.
Yeah, it's what you want in a championship game. You wanna
Yeah.
see a good game. You wanna be able to see both teams performing at their best, and we saw that, and now we get the Seahawks and the Patriots playing in the Super Bowl against each other again. They
Yeah.
did it back in
Rematch.
2014, 2015, yeah. It's not really a
Patriots
rematch. I hate
won.
when people say it's a rematch because it's not a
Why
rematch.
not?
To
They
me, a
played each
rematch
other.
has
Well, cause like
but it has to but it was
the same
11 years
players.
ago.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
yeah,
has to be like,
yeah.
okay, we just played them last year, now we're gonna play them again, or we played them 2 years ago,
Right.
now we play them
Okay,
again.
that's fair.
11 years, man, it's like, ain't nobody on the team,
Yeah, that's true.
all the ain't
Yeah,
nobody on
that's
the
true.
teams. I hate when people say that. Nah, I don't hate it, but it's just like, I just don't agree with it. It's just like, it's
It's
not
not
a
the
rematch,
same.
man. It's the
Yeah, it's
same
not the same.
organizations playing
Right.
against each other again. But when the Patriots played the Giants for the second time, okay, that was a rematch because you
Yeah.
still had the same guys on the team. Like, not all the guys were the same, but a lot of the same
Yeah.
guys that played in the first game against the Giants played in the second game against the Giants. So that's a rematch.
Right.
But when you got like
That
11
makes
years
sense.
apart between, it's not a rematch. It's not a rematch. They just playing each other again. The organizations are just playing each other again. So
They're either
that's just me.
announcers in the booths or they're coaches for a different team. Like I said, it's not even the same guys
Yeah.
anymore. So
And you're gonna hear them say
yeah.
that, that's how they're gonna be building this for the next 2
Yeah, for
weeks is a
sure.
rematch of Super Bowl 48, yada, yada, yada. I mean, I get it, whatever. But for me, it's not a rematch. It's
Yeah,
just,
yeah,
they just playing each other again.
yeah. Well, who you
That's just
got?
me.
Who you got winning the Super Bowl?
I think Seattle's gonna win.
Yes,
I
me too.
I think Seattle's gonna win. I
Yeah. Do
think
you
that
think it's gonna
Seattle's
be a high scoring game? Because both teams have a very good defense. What do you think about that? Do you think
I
it's gonna
don't
be
think
a
it's gonna be a
slower
high.
Super Bowl?
I mean, the last time these two teams did play in the Super Bowl, it was one of the best games that we've had in the Super
Mhm.
Bowl. I think it was 24-21 was the final score. I think it's gonna be something like that again. I think it's gonna be similar to that. They're playing in San Francisco, Santa Clara, wherever in the heck that stadium is. So hopefully it's not raining outside. Hopefully the weather will be
Yeah.
okay and will allow these guys to play without the weather being a factor. But yeah, I think Seattle won a close game. Maybe, 28-24 or something like that. I think it'll
Okay.
be a good game.
Okay. Imma say 24-21
That was the score the
final
last time they
score.
played,
Oh, was it?
24-21.
Oh, okay.
Uh,
Well, maybe the same thing. Maybe I should change that. I don't know. But I do think it's going to be, again, field goals. It's going to be 3-point difference. I think we're going to see that trend continue throughout the year.
Yeah, it's crazy. Either Drake May or Sam Darnold would be a Super Bowl champion before Josh Allen, before Lamar Jackson, before Justin Herbert, before Dak Prescott. I mean, that's just crazy when you think about it. It's crazy.
I mean, especially when you think about that 2018 draft class alone, the names you're talking about, Baker Mayfield, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, those were the 3 guys that you probably thought would have won a Super Bowl by now. Sam Darnold was in that same draft class, and he's going to be the first one to go to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's crazy.
It's crazy, man. Just crazy. Yeah. I mean, while you feel good for Sam Darnold, I mean, I kind of feel bad for Devontae Adams. This was his 5th time playing in a championship game, the NFC Championship game, and he's lost all 5. So that's tough.
Which is crazy because, like, he's been like when he was in the NFC Championship game, he was with some really good teams. Obviously, he was with some amazing quarterbacks. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, he was with Aaron Rodgers. He's been with Matt Stafford. It's like, I feel for him. That's tough.
Feel bad for
especially
him,
after having that tenure when he was with the Raiders and it just wasn't working out. You know, the Raiders suck, and then he went to the Jets, who suck worse. And now he's able to play, I feel like, to his true capabilities, to a really good wide receiver. They have an amazing team around, an amazing quarterback, great staff, and he still can't get to Super Bowl. I mean, these opportunities, like, he has 5 opportunities. They're not going to keep coming around. Obviously, he's getting older.
Yeah. I feel bad for him, but not that bad. I mean, I'm a Detroit Lions fan, so
but not that bad for other teams in the NFC.
I've been watching those jokers for over 50 years, and they made it to the Super Bowl. So Devontae only been to the championship game like 5 times and then make it to the Super Bowl. So I can't feel too bad for him. It sucks, but I don't feel too bad for
him. That's funny. Well, we got 2 weeks into the Super Bowl. So it's February 7th, 8th?
The 8th, something like that. Yeah, where the 8th would be the Super Bowl.
Yeah. All right.
So no football next week for the first time in 5-6 months. There will be no football on the watch.
Brutal.
Yeah.
Brutal.
Wrap your mind around that.
It's always a long time from February whatever to September, man. It's just,
it's
a long time.
Long 8 months, 6 months, whatever it is. I don't know how long it is. But got 1 game to go.
One more, and we're there.
All right,
let's go ahead and wrap this episode up here. We hope that you guys enjoyed it. Of course, if you haven't already, please go ahead and click that link below to follow us wherever you listen to podcasts. That way you get updated whenever we upload an episode. And of course, it also helps us out as well. All right, we will catch you guys in the next one.
All right, y'all. Thanks for watching. Stay here till we get back.